The story of Nabi Musa. We know that Nabi Musa AS is the most mentioned personality in the Quran after Allah Himself. No one's name appears more in the Quran after Allah than Nabi Musa AS. We know Nabi Musa has the honor that even Muhammad SAW, Nabi Ibrahim didn't get, in that Allah spoke to Nabi Musa directly. When Nabi Musa spoke to Allah, Allah responded to him. Subhanallah. No Nabi had that besides Nabi Musa. Allah had given him the honor that he defeated. We know he got the Torah, he defeated Fir'aun, the Red Sea opened up by the grace of Allah. So the honor and the list that Nabi Musa gets, it's unparalleled. In fact, as a baby, Allah says that we poured over Musa our love. We showered him with our love. You don't even find this about other Anbiya in the Quran, where Allah says, my love was poured over Musa a.s. Now Nabi Musa, we know his status and his place. You cannot rival him. And then he's teaching and preaching to his community, the Bani Israel, and they had this habit of asking stupid questions. When he says slaughter a cow, what color cow, how big the cow, this is how the Bani Israel were. Always asking him questions. And so one person of his community asked him, no fa'idah, a question of no benefit. Said to him, Sheikh, I have a very important question. Very, very important. Okay, what is this question? It's so urgent. I want to know who's the most learned person in the dunya? Who's the biggest alim in the world? Who's the biggest sheikh in the world? And Nabi Musa is looking at this guy probably like, Allah speaks to me directly. Allah gave me the Torah directly. Duh, me. Obviously, I am the most learned person in the world. And Allah did not approve of that statement. And Allah said to Nabi Musa, in fact, there is someone that has more knowledge than you. Point to note here, sometimes we feel, due to how far we've reached in life, and the qualifications that we have in life, and the status that we have, we've made it, we're on top. Not knowing that there are people always above you. In Surah Yusuf, Allah says, remember that above every alim is alim, someone more learned than you. And above him, ultimately, if there is one person right on top, there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the all-knowing, the all-wise. Even Musa a.s. was not right to say this. And so when Nabi Musa heard that there is someone more learned than me, he immediately said to Allah, Ya Allah, let me go and find this man. I need to find this man and be a student of him. Now the Anbiya, they don't get sabbaticals from the Nubuwwah. They don't get 2 weeks leave from the Imamat job and say, look, guys, just don't do shirk, I'm going to be back. In fact, Nabi Musa tried that. He went away for 40 days to make itikaf with Allah. When he came back, his people worshipped the idol. So he knows, I can't leave these people to their own devices. I have to be with them day in and day in and day out. And so he said to Allah, and he made dua, Ya Allah, please let me leave, give me leave from the Bani Israel, because I need to learn. There could be no excuse that a Nabi has to leave his people. But yet for knowledge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Nabi Musa permission. You can go and search for this man called Khidr alayhi salam. Now we know Nabi Musa said to Allah, how will I find this man? You know, it's in the hadith, this is explained more. Where will I find him? What does he look like? Allah says, you just walk along the coast. So it's along an ocean or wherever. You walk around along the bank. Eventually you will find, a sign will be shown to you and you'll find this man. Allah is not making it easy for Nabi Musa. You're going to walk and walk and walk until you find him. And this was a long journey. This was very long that Nabi Musa is walking, searching for someone to teach him. Now in Surah Kahf, which I hope we all read on Fridays, at the beginning of the juz, Nabi Musa says, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى Nabi Musa says, لِفَتَاهُ, to his servant, لَا أَبْرَوْ حَتَّى أَبْلَغُ مَجْمَعَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ أَوْ أَمْضِي حُقْبًا. Now Nabi Musa is frustrated. And with him is a boy, his servant, Nabi Yusha, nothing yet a Nabi, and there's a lot to speak about him. Nabi Yusha, of course, heard Nabi Musa is going. He said, Sheikh, where are you going? You're going on holiday? He said, no, I'm going to learn. There's a man out there that's more learned than me. So Nabi Yusha, Nabi Musa is his mentor. So he says, Ya Allah, there's someone out there that knows more than my Sheikh. Can I please go with you? Can I please go with you? Obviously this was a private thing, and so he said, in exchange, I will go with you and I'll carry the bags. That's how excited Nabi Yusha as a boy, 10, 12 years old. I'll carry the bags. And we know he's carrying the goods and Nabi Musa is walking. And they're walking for such a long time that Allah begins, Nabi Musa saying, he says to Nabi Yusha, I will not stop this journey searching for the place where I must meet this man, even if it must take me years to get there. I'm not going to give up this journey. So he's been walking for a long time. Could be weeks, could be months. Walking, looking to find this man. And in spite of his frustration, I'm not going to stop until I find this person. And then Allah says, but when they reached that spot where they were supposed to meet Sayyidina Khidr, Nabi Khidr, فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَجْمَعَ بَيْنِهِمَا, they found the spot of where the ocean would split. نَسِيَ حُوتَهُمَا فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا. Now, what is mentioned here, so they arrived at the spot that they were supposed to meet Nabi Khidr. Okay? Nabi Khidr wasn't there yet, alayhi salam. Point to note, sometimes the student is ready, sometimes you come to class, sometimes you've made the effort, the teacher isn't there. It's not an excuse to leave and quit. Your job, you are in need of that man. It's like I go to the doctor, and I say, the doctor isn't here, well then I'm going to cancel this appointment. You need him more than he needs you. And so Nabi Musa gets to the spot, and he doesn't know this is where he's supposed to meet Khidr alayhi salam. And they rested on that spot. Allah caused that they slept. And while Nabi Musa was sleeping, Nabi Yusha was keeping their lunch or food, and they had a fish, a snook or something. And the snook came alive, and it jumped into the ocean and it swam away. Now Nabi Musa is sleeping, Nabi Yusha is looking at this weird thing. I want to tell Nabi Musa, I want to wake him up. And so, when Nabi Musa woke up, they continued to walk on. This was now the sign. Nabi Yusha saw the sign, Nabi Musa didn't get to see it. But he forgot to tell, he didn't tell Nabi Musa. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَ. So when they passed this place, قَالَ لِفَتَاهُ. Now they walked on for another long time. They walked on for a long time. Nabi Musa says to Nabi Yusha, آتِنَا غَدَاءَنَا. He says, give me my lunch. I'm now so tired of walking. Bring me that snook. I'm hungry now. لَقَدْ لَقِينَا مِنْ سَفْرِنَا هَذَا نَصَبًا. Look at the frustration of Nabi Musa. He says, bring us our lunch. I have certainly been exhausted by this journey. I am now so fed up of walking and searching for this man. Bring me the snook. Nabi Yusha realized, I forgot to tell you. So he says, Qala. Nabi Yusha says to him, he then said to you, Nabi Musa, do you remember when we were resting on that rock? Remember when we were sleeping there? That is when I forgot, the fish jumped out and I forgot to tell you. Now, this is an excuse all young students make. Now look what Nabi Yusha says, وَمَا أَنْسَانِي إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ أَذْكُرَ. It was Shaitan's fault that I forgot. Shaitan's fault that I didn't remember. I don't know if you put that in exam, if you're going to get any points for that. But he says to Nabi Musa, I forgot to tell you, and Shaitan's fault that made me forget. And then he says, and you know what? It took a very weird path. It swam in a way in the water. It looked very weird. Nabi Musa says, قَالَ ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْخِ. That is what we were looking for all along. That was the sign. فَارْتَدَّ عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ قَصَصًا. And so step by step, they walked back to that spot. Again, what is the purpose? Why we listen to the story, interesting. But why is Allah causing Nabi Musa to go all the way there, get exhausted and tired? He misses the sign. Then he goes further on. Now he must make a U-turn. Why? Because Allah wants to see, are you going to give up? Are you going to say, okay, I've had enough. I need to go back to my people now. Allah says, you want the knowledge, it's there. But you're not going to get it cheap. I'm gonna exhaust you for that knowledge. I'm going to really, really take it out of you to see if you're worthy of that knowledge. Even Nabi Musa a.s. What about us, subhanAllah?